Hey Tando, I need to arrange for your medical testing to finalize your life cover. The more we know about you, the more cover you could qualify for.
What will happen to my medical records?
Well, Siswami, Old Mutual keeps them confidential.
Get medically tested and you could qualify for more life cover.
iDiskiTV, powered by World Sports Betting, iDiskiTimes.co.za. Orlando Pirates 1, Stade Abidjan 1. Besenchilo ukuthi who is at the top, who is at the bottom of Group C. Umdlalo udlalile namhlanje Lindo Pep. A disappointing result for Rimna. Udla ngotsho a disappointing result for Rimna, but for wena, how did you see umdlalo wanamhlanje?
Yeah, shap kunjani shini
Ah,
shini.
no,
Yeah,
no,
ngibulisa
sharp.
amajimbo, ngibulisa the legendary Tsovila gazi.
Yeah.
Ngibulise uMr Nkewu, ngibulisa uBobo, ngibulisa uJusta, ngibulisa uKhohla out yam. Shane, to be honest with you, playing our away games with Champions League are the most difficult things. But for me, in the first half, more especially in the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes of the game, Orlando Pirates should have killed the game. Yeah. I think you guys should have been 4-0 up in the first half, in my opinion. You guys need a killer up there. We've been praising Makgopa in the last 3-4 weeks, saying that he's got an unbelievable press in him, helps the team in terms of defensive responsibilities, but that's not his primary job. His primary job is to score goals. For Orlando Pirates to do well this season, they need a striker that's going to score goals for them. Do they have that striker in their team? Yes, they do, Gumabasa. Is he a striker that's going to give you a lot without the ball? Maybe not, which is maybe why Makgopa plays in big games, because they don't want to play a 10v11 game. They always want to play 11v11 game where the striker will always confront our centre backs. In my opinion, a terrible technically, a player that should improve in terms of his clinical finishing. You don't get those opportunities and not score, Shane. It's unacceptable, more especially for this level, in my opinion, where you did well, you are presser, you win the ball, but now finish. You score there. You don't score there, you're putting the team under pressure. That's why the game ends 1-1, in my opinion. This Orlando Pirates needs someone who's going to score. I said here in studio, I can't wait for the day Radio Panesaga ready, because the last season he played, he scored 20 goals. I understand it's a different piece to Orlando Pirates and the Betway Premiership. I understand those are two different levels. But for me, it gives you legs, it gives you ball playing. He's got an unbelievable touch. He's good with his back towards goals. He's got a good leap in him. Yeah. He's got a good finish, can kick both left and right. For me, Unkota tells that you can tell Shane that he hasn't even played 10 games in the Betway Premiership. A young boy who's super talented, in my opinion, a very direct winger, better than most of the wingers that we have in the PSL, in my opinion. Did he play well today? It's a 50-50 kind of a thing. With younger players, you always expect that they're going to be inconsistent. Mofokeng is the one who already cream, brainy thinking. Shane, akuna hype, let's see praise alapayan. Leandro Leana, ngicela ubheke decision making yale amfana, ngicela ubheke ukuthi uthola kanjani Orlando Pirates amahlombe. I think who really reminds me a little bit of Teko Modise from a profile player perspective. When Teko akata ku PJ Stars coming from a winger, but protector, because he didn't have the body, Shane, and he didn't have the legs and the tactical ability to understand how to play as a number 10. You understand? So they played him as a left winger, Orlando Pirates, under Ruud Krol and so many coaches. They played him as a left winger, cutting in from the left. And then when he moved to Mamelodi Sundowns, when he was older, wiser, sharper, understood the game a little bit better, he came back into his normal position, which was a 8 or a 10, which is, I feel, that's the best position, really. The only reason why he's not playing there now is because of time. Tactically, the boy still needs to improve a lot of things, more especially understanding the game, that you don't only play the game when you have the ball. You have to understand how to play the game without the ball, in my opinion. But for me, the biggest problem in Orlando Pirates is the one that is Kulmanga Shane. It's unacceptable to play ngomuntu la isikupini ofihlule kuyolanda ibhola. Mina Shane, mina ngazi ukuthi mina ngikhulele Orlando Shane.
Who is that?
Shane, ngikhulele Orlando Shane, Orlando kade kudlala bobashi.
Who is that person?
Makaula Shane.
Thank you.
There's two things, Shane. I will always say, Shane. There's two midfielders. There's a midfielder umbata, uyalfuna, uyagasmind ukulisupport al collect Shane, but you're a loser. And for me, cheaply. And for me, that's another disadvantage, Shane, because you can't lose the ball in a direct line. Because Shane, muscle pass ball a center. Remember, Stangala Ziles Vuli. Yeah. So if you lose the ball, we are already one pass yes pull. For me, Umakaula, that's another thing. Why is Fitla? I feel take responsibility. Usabugzala behind with his back towards goal. For me, that's unacceptable. Let alone to ngikhule ngidlala nabobasha butso bangakutshela. Ungazositshela ngeman behind, man. Let alone to more special model the Pirates. It's a big club, and it's the club that's supported by millions of people. Millions of people support that club. Special midfielders in this country.
If you are there, Lindo, and you can't udlala ngoluhlobo, they even let you describe
man behind.
If you yiga a man behind udlala Orlando Pirates, then you shouldn't be there.
No, usabi man behind. Nano mikona Shane let talento la.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, because every time when Ubona Umbata playing with there's the opponent emva kwakhe.
Yeah.
funeka umince ukuthi that opponent might get the ball,
Yeah.
or else Mbata might get the ball and
Yeah.
pass the ball back to that opponent,
Yeah.
of
Shane-
which is unacceptable.
Shane, it's unacceptable. You can't play with those midfielders. One of them is scared to collect the ball. Uyasaba ukuzavela thathe responsibility afune lento. Omunye uyalifuna but uyalose. In my opinion, for Orlando Pirates, when you play as an 8, the secret is do not lose the ball. Mina personally, as a technical person, I hate a midfielder that loses the ball because usifaka uyasabotage, usebenzise extra time and usebenzise overtime and akunamuntu obhadalelwe overtime Shane. You understand? For me, I just felt like abo real namhlanje bebasebenza overtime, but credit to Sbisi, credit to Sesane. I think their partnership is growing week in, week out. I think the two boys have been doing very well. In my opinion, there's these two diagonal balls that they play to our fullbacks. For me, Orlando Pirates, Shane, sometimes I think to myself, why do they not play a progressive pass in midfield? Bring the team a little bit closer to the goal mouth, Shane, rather than playing them a half in yabo. Because imagine if Usesanu dlala a deep diagonal ball to Nkota on the left hand side. Asapote nini uMakhaola noMbatha because they are far away line yabo. For me, that pass doesn't make sense in that diagonal dodge. For me, you play a forward pass, progressive sondela Tuzani, and goal mouth here, and then we can stretch the team. Because why? I need my defender a little bit deeper. So how do we want to stretch them? Sfungba stretch ange width nange line. Uyambona Mofokeng line na Maki. Nkota was on the left. Uhoto for me as well. He's good as a left back. I think Mela Wambusela coach. I think a coach always likes opting for this option here defensive. Double left back, double right back, more especially in big games. I do not understand. I understand that Uhoto has done well, more especially in big games, in cup competitions. But for me, he looks too predictable, in my opinion. Lack of combination play, lack of thinking, no deep cross. It's the very same Gilberto Magangena, in my opinion. The very same profile of a player. Mina, when I'm looking at a winger, Shane, I'm looking for, are you a deep crosser like Can you cross from deep? So that squads okay the box in. We've got that profile. It does none of that. You get the ball 1v1, isolate your fullback. You can't take your fullback on. Shane, that's the second thing. The third thing is, for me, he does have pace, but he doesn't have the intelligence to run behind, in my opinion. For me, there's a reason why Nkota is ahead of him. There's a reason why he hasn't been playing for Orlando Pirates. Is it an adaptation problem? Probably yes, he's Portuguese. We cannot lie and say it's easy to come into the PSL and play. We understand it's a fast league, but for me, he's got pace. Pace is an advantage in football. Does he have technique? I still need to see more from him. But for me, he played well and the previous team he comes from. But for me, I want to see something. He's been given enough opportunity to prove himself. Usipo Chaina, another player that we need to talk about a little bit. Shane, I think Usipo Chaina gives Orlando Pirates a lot of presence.
Yazi Lindo before ndokuqhawula mfethu.
Yeah.
Yazi as uthetha the only player bendicinga apha engqondweni nami was Sipho Chaina because we don't talk a lot about goalkeepers and how they influence indlela team edlala ngayo. Look at Ronwen Williams at Sundowns. You know ukuthi I-build up iqala pha. It's not every day where you in the same league, same season or in the same era where you have two good goalkeepers who are very comfortable on the ball. A goalkeeper, when I go to, he's improving. Check Usipo Chaina in his first season at Orlando Pirates. He was erratic, but you could see Guti, goalkeeping was happening. Like a goalkeeper coach was working with him. So it results in happy birthday to him. By the way.
Happy birthday to him, Shane.
Now, how important is he, Lindo, Orlando Pirates, Usipo Chaina going forward? I mean, even from now, from the past 2 seasons going forward, how important is he for Orlando Pirates?
Shane, he plays as a libero, as a deep playing playmaker.
Yeah.
For me, he's very creative. He's a leader. He's an organizer. I'm impressed with handling yake. I think in the last 18 months, he's been incredible with his feet. I think he plays lines that break line. You check my performance metrics work. Shane, for me, he's part of the 10 best players in the league, in my opinion. Because we were discussing that. For me, in my opinion, when I'm looking at his performance metrics, he keeps clean sheets. He's very consistent. You look at his technical awareness, Shane. I think technically helps you Orlando Pirates from our build-up processes to deal with a dead ball situation. You look at the technical ability. It's something that we spoke about. One of the best after Ronza in terms of kicking the ball and finding a pass, Shane. You're looking at our accolades work, our awards. I think last season he did well. I think it was last man standing. I think WMTN 8 as well. I think, remember, he was the third choice or second choice goalkeeper with Chipa United. I think whoever that scouts for Orlando Pirates, it's the very same thing in show, Shane. The importance of SIP. This is the thing, even in midfield, they can find those special players. The Pirates has always been a team at Shane. It's known. If there's one team in the PSL, Eglala Ingwenya, Orlando Pirates, yes, maybe they might not gel. Yes, maybe they might not win league titles and stuff like that. But in terms of individual players and individual profiling of players, I think they've got some of the best squads. I think they've got some of the best players in the league. In my opinion, Usipo Chaina gives them presence. It gives them leadership. It gives them an extra player. So Orlando Pirates doesn't play 10v11. They always play 11v11. Shane.
Since I Lindo,
Yeah.
and I'll give you 45 to 60 seconds. That's 1 minute. there were changes that were made namhlanje. We saw Gilberto coming in. Yes, the team Lindo, with all due respect to them. I mean, they are playing a CAF Champions League, of which it means we must respect them. Yeah. But looking at indlela abadlale ngayo namhlanje, look at the indlela abadlale ngayo against Al Ahly, you could see this team will not go far. Yeah. This team will not go further than the group stages. But Orlando Pirates failed to beat this team. In my opinion, Lindo, in my view, I feel Orlando Pirates, even if they could make 6 changes, as not namhlanje, they should be able to beat this team. But do Orlando Pirates have enough quality to go further with CAF Champions League and also maintain their form in the Betway Premiership?
Yeah, Shane, we did say Orlando Pirates has 15 to 16 very good players, in my opinion. The rest of the players very average, in my opinion. Do they win Orlando Pirates the league? Orlando Pirates is the most informed team in the league. We should give them an opportunity to challenge. Yeah. But do they get it over the line? For me, it's still questionable. Yeah. In the Champions League, I did say, Shane, that I'm waiting for after the first 6 games. And for me, we can already tell that they are struggling like a bit, even though they haven't lost as much. But you can tell that there's like in the Champions League. But this team, Shane, you can tell that this team, Orlando Pirates, team I think, group. There's only about 2-3 players that are good there. Yeah. Number 10 on the left, who's very dynamic, a dribbling wizard. But other than that, for me, Orlando Pirates doesn't have the depth. They do have depth, I mean to say, but the depth doesn't have quality.
That's it. Thank you. And today is 60 seconds for a change. Normally you take 120 or 300. But that's it for this episode. Orlando Pirates 1, Stade Abidjan 1.